Good morning. My name is Robert Schmid, Deloitte Digital's Chief IoT Technologist, also known as Mr.IoT. And this week on Coffee with Mr.IoT, I'm talking with Luke Liu. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm doing perfect. Thanks, Robert.
Welcome to the show. We're having a bit of a different show today. In usual Coffee with Mr.IoT fashion, we're trying to show a variety of different things. And today, I wanted to, actually I'm trying to, there's two reasons. I want to serve the geek in me, and I wanted to get someone really technically deep. And I also wanted to introduce a young member of our firm to the group here. And so the reason, Luke, we asked you if you wanted to join was because you're one of the most proliferate posters on our pilot Workplace by Facebook. We have a bunch of different IoT groups on our Workplace by Facebook social forums, and you're one of the ones who always brings the greatest and most interesting things to the table. I actually feel like I'm competing with you when I try to post something because you got some really awesome stuff. So welcome. Luke, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Robert. Thank you for that warm introduction. And I love going on to the Workplace by Facebook because I know that's what connects people. And IoT, that's what what connects things. And so you see the congeniality there. That's what I enjoy in general. So a little bit about myself. My name is Luke Liu, originally from Nanjing, China. That's the southern capital in China. Actually, a quick fact, I gave myself the name Luke because growing up, I was a big fan of the Star Wars universe. That's how I got my name, and everybody needs a nickname. Right now with Deloitte, I am a consultant with Deloitte's US innovation practice. So we are a 50-people team who serve across all the functions within Deloitte. We build products for our audit service, consulting, tax, and enable areas. So what do? We sense the marketplace for interesting tech startups, incubate their capabilities, and build client-facing solutions and deliver them to our practice. So for example, most recently, I worked on a graph platform. So for our auditors to work on a centralized canvas where they can use each, draw a shape, draw a business process diagram, and that's going to generate their work product for client delivery directly. So try to think of different ways to connect different things. You can see the trend right there and automate a lot of things in our lives. Also, about my history with IoT. So it goes a bit back to my college days. I started college 8 years ago in a small town in Pennsylvania. There, I started working on a thesis paper on biometrics. So essentially using your finger patterns to unlock devices. There I thought, okay, so this is a small device talking about connecting different things, and that's my introduction to connecting the analog world into a digital world. So the whole idea of digitization, whole idea of making things connected, got me really excited, which led me to doing a project at Cornell with smart home automation. So that project actually did an indoor localization, taking a prototype Android device, and it's going to tell me exactly which room I am in real time. Cool. And other than that, I do a lot of different things. I'm a big fan of sharing information, being active on Workplace. I'm also a researcher in tech trends. Deloitte's annual publication of with all things exciting.
I see you wearing the T-shirt. Very nice advertising. The new tech trends for 2017 are about to come out, right?
It just came out actually the past Wednesday. It's live there, and it's awesome.
Well, Bill Briggs was a guest on our show, and he's been the one who came up with tech trends 8 years ago, I believe. We had an article featured last year. So, Luke, you talk about IoT. I have two questions for you. Let me start with the obvious one. I see those skis behind you. Are they IoT enabled?
They're not yet, but I would love to.
What are you going to do with them?
Yeah, you see, a friend of mine lost his skis out in Jackson Hole when he's jumping the famous CC jump. It's covered by snow, can find it. But imagine if it's IoT enabled with GPS sensor, he'll recover it with ease.
That's a good point. I do snowboarding more than I do skiing, particularly when there is powder, so I don't lose it anymore. But I like that. So look, let's go back to work a little bit on your innovation thing. You said you look at companies that do interesting, innovative things. What interesting, innovative things have you seen in the IoT space lately?
Yes, in the IoT space, a lot of big things about, I would say, the chatbot, the conversational interface is one big thing. Well, when you think about chatbot, immediately you could think about, like, say, the Google device, think about the Amazon Echo Dot device. But also, there are just more generic chatbot applications that could have potential to integrate with enterprise solutions. For example, there is this one company, and they do uh, building a interface with their API interface and can hook up into, say, for example, our Deloitte's conference reservation system. Imagine there you can just type up a window and start chatting, say, I need to book this reservation at this day for this purpose, and we'll book it for you. That's
Look, how's this different? So how's this different from me calling a call center and before someone picks up, I get like the voice, press this to do that, or tell me this and that. I have to tell you, I get frustrated 9 out of 10 times because these things don't ever know what I want. How are the newer chatbots different today?
Yes, you can see there are a lot of different things. First, first and foremost, because you have this different experience with talking to a human agent, but if you're talking to a machine, they'll have a consistent experience. So consistency comes into first. Second, with the machine enabled, because they can keep learning, keep growing with all the different interaction points with different clients. A machine can aggregate all that information and become more efficient with the conference booking system. So that's streamlining the experience, and also and just in general, just having less people behind the scene and in this automated environment, that is just, it's a cost saving, and it is just more sustainable solution going into the future.
So what you're saying is, beside the cost saving, which all of us get, the machine learning has really made a difference. So instead of having pre-programmed answers, and if you don't fit into that pre-programmed answer, actually the new chatbots have access to a whole bunch of more data and that pre-programming has actually been superseded. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. The natural language processing piece is a big part in this universe. And also, as you can imagine, with all those data collected interacting with the chatbot itself, people are going to fit into the machine learning model ongoing. And from that, we can just keep getting this thing getting more efficient more and more. So, recently, Google's DeepMind released this their AlphaGo um, a machine AI bot. It actually beat the Go masters around the world, and only recently actually competed. It had a 50-game winning streak along all the top masters in China. Imagine releasing that kind of power. I mean, on a
Play
conference
Go?
booking system. There you go.
Play Go?
It's no big deal. Yeah.
You play Go?
Yes, I play Go.
Okay.
The Chinese take
Next
pride
time you
in.
come to the Bay Area, you have to teach me a little bit because I want to learn. Not that I'm ever going to beat the Google AI, but that'll be good. If you're just joining, you're watching Coffee with Mr. IoT. I'm Robert Schmid, Deloitte Digital's Chief IoT Technologist, and today my host is Luke Liu, a consultant out of our Deloitte Innovation Practice. And the title of the show is Geek and Fleek. Luke, what's Fleek, or did I just throw you a curveball with calling it Fleek? Have you heard about Fleek before?
No, Robert. Honestly, first time.
So I looked this up, and I saw the definition of Fleek is defined as smooth, nice, and sweet. And it's only really been around for 10 years. It's one of those modern words. I actually only learned it 2 weeks ago, and I thought it might be something that my kids would know about. But in any case, I really wanted to go and, you brought it up, chatbots, and then you said to us before the show, you know what, Robert, I'm going to have two AIs talk to each other. And
Oh, yeah.
there was a real article out there actually where they had, I believe it was 2 Google boxes talk to each other, right? And so you said that you were going to go and actually show us a Google Home talk to Alexa. Show it to us, please, and tell us what's actually going on. What's Google Home? What's Alexa for the people that aren't familiar with it?
You know, Robert, as you were explaining the situation, you actually say the keyword. It actually activated my Echo Dot device just now. So here it is. Let me show everybody.
Okay, Google.
Okay, Google. Who are you?
Spinning.
I'm your Google Assistant. I like helping you and taking long walks on the beach, provided a long enough extension cord.
Okay, Google. What's Alexa?
Alexa, what is Google?
Google incorporated the internet technology business.
So, Luke, show us how they talk to each other. I know you've set this up so they can actually go back and forth, can't they?
Yes, they can. Go back and forth in okay, Google.
Luke, we can't hear you.
Okay, Google. What is my 3 p.m. appointment?
Today, there's only one thing. It starts at 3 p.m. and the title is Alexa, what's on my to-do list?
You have one to do. Okay, Google, what's on my calendar at 3 p.m. today?
Today, there's only one thing. It's at 3 p.m. and its title is Alexa, what's on my to-do list?
You have one to do. Okay, Google, what's on my calendar at 3 p.m. today?
Today, there's only one thing. It's at 3 p.m.
Okay, Luke, that was fantastic. I have to tell you, I haven't laughed this much in Coffee with Mr.IoT in a while. I think the last time I had such a good time was when we started showing each other our shoes. So Tracy, Rachel, and I started talking about smart shoes, and then we shared what shoes we were wearing. So, Luke, what was going on here? Just give us a bit of an intro. Tell us, please, what these devices were and what was going on, because I have a Google Home. I don't have an Alexa, and but I'd like our viewers to get an intro to that and go a little bit behind it. Talk about the AI behind it, because it's quite fascinating.
Gotcha. So, well, for people who are not familiar with this Google device and Amazon's Echo device, it's actually a little bit similar to the Siri on your iPhone. So, for example, it is a voice-activated assistant. Basically, it's for general purpose. If you say the activation command, it can answer a set of predefined questions. And also, for baked in with this machine learning capabilities, say Google Home, it can even answer more freestyle, free-throw questions at it. And for example, the Amazon Alexa, the Echo Dot device came out roughly more than a year ago. Its purpose is to have this one-stop shop in your home. It's going to connect tied back to all your smart home needs. And for example, I hooked up my device into the heater. If it's a little bit cold right now, I can say, Alexa, turn on the heater. And this heater unit over here. Now it is working. And then for Google, it is so a little bit about the technical architecture right here. So this device in general has several modules. First, it is a front-facing sensor that it can gather a human input or just hearing your surrounding sound. Then it takes this analog input and process into a natural language processor engine, turns that into digital signals so that the machine or the back end of the machine, the cloud, knows what you're talking about, what you're asking for. Then it will hook up to the other devices in your home that is tied to your home automation needs and enable a connectivity around everything that's smart in your home network. And as I said in the beginning, based on its machine learning capabilities, over time you start learning how you talk, learning your routines, and it even is gonna preemptively prompt you about your next appointment if you're gonna be late. Don't be late.
So one of the things that amazed me the most, and one of the problems I had in the past is, and you probably can relate to this, I'm originally from Austria, so I have a bit of an accent. You know, if it's a bit or a lot, who knows? Let's leave that out, but I have an accent. And so as a result, some of the language recognition things were troublesome for me. Well, I have to say that my Google Home doesn't have a problem with my accent, and it seems it's the same for you. It really picks it up well. Why is that?
Yeah, the reason is because there's a backend machine learning engine in the bake. So a little bit more about this whole machine learning, which is going to be a big thing empowering all our IoT devices moving on. So first of all, the data scientist at Google would have to basically build out the basic model about a single accent. And then based on the variations of model, it's going to take into consideration about the different kind of accent people are going to talk to. And then if there is a supervised learning loop, as I speak more to it, and as the Google pick up the correct information that I speak, it will feed back to its learning system. So it's going to keep learning, growing, and over time, it's going to get accustomed to how I speak and how I ask him about things.
I actually heard, and I don't know if this is true, and maybe you have some more on this, but I actually heard when I say something, so if I say, okay, Google, what's the weather today? It actually goes back, and there is, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 different machines analyzing my voice, and then they have a negotiation with each other, and then the negotiation determines what the answer back is. And that all happens in milliseconds, which is a fascinating concept to me, that there is multiple machines doing individual tasks, the same task, and then having a negotiation which one wins. Have you heard that before too?
Absolutely, Robert. That's actually what I based on my thesis research on in my undergrad. So what you're talking about exactly, that's different small little machines, which ones we call them neural. So this whole concept is called a neural network. As we grow deeper, so each neural is, like you said, is each machine. So each neural will have a determination based on what I said, and it's going to spit out a decision by itself. Then this entire wide neural network, they will do a consent and collectively decide which one is the correct output. So in a way, as you can see, the way we call it neural network is like we try to simulate how an organic being, how human would think about this. So imagine this is like a brain. So the whole Google thing is like a brain. It's a cognitive technology. And whatever it say to you, whatever you tell it, it will start processing with its own little units, and the unit will interact with each other and become better and better over time.
So you're telling me that same thing goes on my head? I hear you. There's 10 different guys or little Robert sitting in there thinking about what you say and then negotiating what I say back to you?
There are actually millions or even billions of little guys talking to Google. That's how it's learning so fast.
Interesting. So, look, different question. You know, I can geek out on this forever. But yes, what's the value of this? I mean, tell me, you know, why do I need this voice assistance? I mean, are we not going to have keyboards anymore? Are we going to stop typing?
Yes. So as you can see, Robert, as you can see in the trend of history of human-computer interaction, in the day way in the past, we don't even have keyboard. We don't even have a mouse. So first started when Xerox started defining the graphic user interface, is where you can, instead of like a Geek typing on a keyboard, you can click and drop things. And then as the needs evolve, especially recently as with the mobile technology becomes the overarching theme of all our technology. And imagine that in the near future, the IoT device, like little wearables, like all the little things, they're going to start building into this whole Internet of things. You need a more efficient way to interact with all this. And what's better than just thinking about, I can talk to them, they are become an integral part of my life. So imagine electricity or internet for the things. You don't realize that you're interacting with electricity or internet all the time. They're just like something out there, you take it for granted. So how do you interact with this small little device that's controlling everything you need with your smart home? You just talk to it. So that's the personal assistant idea. That's how the voice interaction interface come into being, from my understanding.
It's interesting because I find that the way my personal process works is typing, because it's slower than thinking, it helps me organize what I type. And when I speak, I actually might say the same thing 3 times, and so I'm not as organized. So I'm worried that when I lose my keyboard, that actually, my dad would dictate things to his assistant. And I don't know how he did it. I couldn't do it because I'm so used to typing. So there's going to be a whole change coming to us, isn't there, if we suddenly have all these assistants that respond to us?
Yes, absolutely, Robert. For any new technology, the adoption, I would say the technology itself is going to be maybe 2-5 years ahead of the adoption curve. And there's a lot of these human factors playing into how we can interact with all these new technologies out there. For example, if we can talk about a general purpose, like a Google device, Amazon device, it can handle all your needs. That maybe you need to really think about what you're saying, really process very carefully before you tell them a correct command. What if you're talking about a special purpose voice assistant, the one that you just book your flight ticket for you? So for that, there's no much ambiguity in the communication. You just tell this little bot when you want the flight ticket, and it will book it for you.
It's interesting, in your introduction of Alexa, you said it's a one-stop shop. And I'm just going to stick on that shop thing, because I know that you can actually order things through Alexa. And the interesting thing that I heard that Amazon found out was that sometimes Alexa orders things by accident. And so people actually now, what they have done for Alexa orders is you can return it for free. There's no charge, because Alexa orders could happen by accident. So that's an interesting side note. Hey, I want to switch for a second and hit on a topic that my partner always asks me. She says to me, I think Google is spying on me, because I go online and it shows me ads about things I've talked about. My understanding is that Google doesn't actually listen, and it doesn't actually know what goes on. I don't even want to get into the space of if that's right or wrong, because in a way, if you have a conversation, you and I, wouldn't it be interesting if Alexa or Google Home would come in and give additional context to my conversation? So for me, it might actually be some benefit to that. But tell me, are these devices listening all the time? How does this work about privacy and so forth? Give us a little bit of an intro on that, and I think that's going to be a closing point anyhow.
Yes, exactly, Robert. So for all of this, for all the new technologies, I mean, what you're talking, people's concern, exactly one of the kind of barriers in adoption. I mean, in general, there is no set solution to this, since this concerns how people perceive the environment around them. These voice assistants, by their definition, they're going to be active and learning to you all the time. Well, now as a user, from technology-wise, you have the option to disable their, say, their history, or stop them from listening to you for a certain period of time. But I think more importantly is kind of the mindset that needs to adjust. I mean, think about a same analogy. Right now, I walk into my room. I walk across all the radio frequency, all my Wi-Fi signals, all my Bluetooth signals without feeling anything. Well, somebody in the past could argue that what if the radio frequency signals do harm to your body? What do you do with that? I think it's the same kind of mentality. People need to, not necessarily need to, but it's just a way how people adjust to the new automated world, how human can extend beyond yourself and work with machines in a more harmonious fashion.
Luke, I think it looks like our coffee break is coming to a close. I really want to thank you, Luke Liu, for a great conversation. I think I want to just put another plug in here. I get this question often from people within Deloitte. How do I get engaged with you IoT guys? And Luke, you're the best example. Just join us on Workplace by Facebook. We are on there all the time. You can join us on Yammer. We have forums there too. Or you can just get an email contact with us. Thank you for joining. This was awesome. I love that loop you created between Alexa and Google Home. If anybody's interested, just write down there some questions for Luke and I. And in the meantime, thank you so much. If you missed anything, you can always catch us on our recording on my YouTube channel. And next Friday, we'll be back on 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern for another Coffee with Mr. IoT. Have a good one. Bye. Thanks, Luke.
Bye. Thank you.